Another method of computing depreciation is what we call as the service output or production unit method. To find depreciation, we will be using this formula. Depreciation per unit, that is equivalent to the first cost minus salvage value divided by the number of unit capacity. Now we have here our example. We solve directly this problem in order for us to clearly understand what or how is the service output or production unit method is being used for this particular problem. So example number 1, a television company purchased machinery for 100,000 on July 1, 2020. It is estimated that it will have a useful life of 10 years, scrap value of 4,000, production of 400,000 units, and working hours of 120,000. The company uses the machinery for 14,000 hours in 2020 and 18,000 hours in 2021. The machinery produces 36,000 units in 2020 and 44,000 units in 2021. Compute the depreciation for 2021 using the service output method. So if we want to use this method, service output method, our main formula is depreciation per unit, which is equivalent to first cost minus salvage value over the number of unit capacity. So going back to our problem, we have to identify what will be our first cost. So we read back our problem. A television company purchased machinery for 100,000. So definitely this 100,000 will be our first cost. And then we have here minus salvage value. So it is estimated that it will have a useful life of 10 years, scrap value of 4,000. So this 4,000 is our scrap value, which is then our salvage value. So we already have our first cost minus salvage value. Now how about the number of unit capacity? So if we continue reading this problem, production of 400,000 units. So scrap value of 4,000, production of 400,000 units. So if we want to find the number of units capacity, we have here 400,000. So we already have our data available. That's our depreciation per unit. So our basis here is per unit. The depreciation is based on per unit. So our first cost, which is equivalent to 100,000, minus our salvage value, which is then equivalent to 4,000. We already identify our salvage value, where in this case this is the scrap value, and then the number of units capacity, we have 400,000 units. 400,000. So if we compute this depreciation per unit, that is equivalent to 0.24. Take note, this is per unit. Now, the question here is compute the depreciation for 2021. So we are going to find the depreciation for 2021. So the depreciation for 2021, that is equivalent to our depreciation per unit, that is 0.24 times. If we look at 2021, the machinery produces 36,000 units in 2020 and 44,000 units in 2021. Therefore, we need to multiply this 0.24 to 44,000. So the machinery produces 44,000 units in 2021. Thus, the depreciation for 2021 equals 0.24 times 44,000. That is equivalent to 10,560. That is our depreciation for 2021. We will have another example. Example 2, the first coat of road laying machine is 80,000. its salvage value after 5 years is 50,000. The length of road that can be laid by the machine during its lifetime is 75,000 kilometers. In its third year of operation, the length of road laid is 2,000 kilometers. Find the depreciation of the equipment for that year. So we are going to find the depreciation of the equipment for this year. Now take note, we have our depreciation. Of course, our unit here is usually kilometers or in terms of kilometers. So we will take first the depreciation per kilometer. This is per kilometer, which is equivalent to the first cost. So if you have noticed here, the first cost, the first quote of a road laying machine is 80,000. This is our first cost. And then its salvage value after 5 years is 50,000 SV. So salvage value, so we have here 80,000 minus the salvage value, which is equivalent to 50,000, divided by the capacity of units, which is the length of road that can be laid by the machine during its lifetime is 75 kilometers. So that is the capacity, 75,000. So this is 75,000. That is the capacity. So if we compute this depreciation per kilometer, that is equivalent to 0.4. Thus, the depreciation of that equipment, we have here the depreciation for its third year of operation. For its third year of operation. So depreciation for that year. So in its third year, we have, in its third year of operation, the length of road laid is 2,000 kilometers. So we will multiply that 2,000 with this depreciation per kilometer. So 0.4, that is the depreciation per kilometer, multiplied by 2,000 kilometer. That is the length of road laid for its third year of operation. So if we multiply this one, the equivalent is 800 pesos. So that is example number 2. Now we will proceed to another method of depreciation. We have here example 3. So another method of depreciation is the what we call as the working hour. Okay, working hours or machine hours. Machine hours method. So we call it as a working hours or machine hours because we are talking here about working hours or hours of work or hours of machine. So again, when we have our depreciation here, when we compute the depreciation per hour basis, because this is working hour, so per hour basis, that is equivalent to, again, you have here the first cost minus salvage value divided by the number of hours capacity. So if you have noticed a while ago when we discussed about service output, that is depreciation per unit. So first cost minus salvage value over the number of unit capacity. In this case, we have the number of hours. Okay, number of hours capacity. So we go directly with our example. Same problem, but this time we have compute the depreciation for 2021 using working hours method. So this is our first cost. We identify already our first cost. We have this 100,000, and then this 44,000 is the salvage value of this, or the scrap value. And then since this is a working unit method, working hours method, then we have to look at the working hours. Production of 400,000 units and working hours of 120,000. That is the capacity. So when we compute the depreciation per hour, so this is per hour basis, that is equivalent to the first cost minus salvage value all over the number of hours capacity. So first cost, that is 100,000, minus the salvage value, which is equivalent to 4,000, divided by our number of hours capacity, which is equivalent to 120,000. So if we compute this one, that is equivalent to 0.8. So take note, this 0.08 is the depreciation per hour. Now, since the problem here is to compute the depreciation for 2021, then we have to determine the machinery produces, the number of hours for 2021. We have to determine the company uses the machinery for 14 hours in 2020 and 18,000 hours in 2021. So we will be using the number of hours. So the depreciation for 2021, that is equivalent to, of course, we will multiply this depreciation per hour, which is 0.8, multiplied by this 18,000 hours for 2021. So 0.8 times 18,000, that is equivalent to, we have 14,400. That is the depreciation for 2021. So we move on to another example for working hours or machine hours method. We have this one example, number 4. A machine was purchased on 1st April 2018 at a cost of 500,000. So we have our first cost, and the cost of installation is 45,000. So we have that 45,000 as an additional cost when we purchase and then install that machine. So that is our first cost, and it can be disposed for 50,000. This statement, it can be disposed for 50,000. In other words, this is considered as our salvage value because we can recover the amount. If we dispose it, we can recover by 50,000. So again, we have to determine our first cost and then our salvage value. So take note, our first cost, we have 500,000. That is the amount to purchase the machine, and of course with an additional cost of installation, which is equivalent to 45,000. So that will be our first cost, 500,000 plus, I will erase this one, salvage value, 500,000 plus 45,000. So our first cost will be 545,000 pesos. Now we will now compute our depreciation per hour. So the depreciation per hour, I will compute it here. The depreciation per hour. Okay, depreciation per hour So we are going to calculate the amount of depreciation per year. I will read first the problem. The expected total working life of the machine will be 100,000 hours. The following table shows the total working hours of the machine during the particular year in the next 5 years. So we have here March 31, 2019, we have 2,100. And then this is the total working hours, no? 2,100 hours. And then for year 2020, that is 1,950 hours. For year 2021, that is 2,200. For year 2022, that is 2,500. And for year 2023, that is 2,350. The question here is to calculate the amount of depreciation per year. So by this time, we will compute first the depreciation per hour, which is equivalent to the first cost, which is equivalent to 545,000. This is our first cost, 545,000, minus the salvage value. So if you have noticed here in the first statement, we can dispose for 50,000. So that will be our recovery amount, which is supposed to be our salvage value. So we will subtract it by our salvage value, that is 50,000, and then divide it by the capacity hours, total hours. We have the expected total working life of the machine will be 100,000 hours. So 100,000, that is the total hours capacity of the machine. So when we compute this one, that is equivalent to 4.95. That is the depreciation per hour. Now we are going to calculate the amount of depreciation per year. So for year 2019, so I will write here, depreciation is for year 2019, we have 4.95. This will be multiplied by the total hours for the year 2019. So 2,100, which is then equivalent to 10,395. Now for year 2020, we will multiply 4.95, that is the depreciation per hour, times the total hours for the year 2020, that is 1,950. So this is equivalent to 9,652.50. And then same with this one, we will multiply 4.95 by 2200, and then 4.95 by 2500, and then also 4.95 by 2350. So we will multiply this one. So when we multiply 4.95 by 2200, that is equivalent to 10,890. If we are going to multiply 4.95 by 2200, that is for the year 2021. Now for the following year 2022, if we multiply 4.95 by 2,500, that is equivalent to 12,375. So that is how we multiply. And then the other one, we have 4.95 times 2350, that is equivalent to 11,632.50. So these are the depreciation for every year. Depreciation for 2019, we have this one. Depreciation for 2020, depreciation for 2021, depreciation for 2022, and then the depreciation for 2023. So again, these are the amount of depreciation per year.